Take 3.
Hello, everyone. This is the third time that we have made this introduction. Needless to say, we're all very tired. We've had a lot of talking. It's been fun, though. This is like the longest recording session we've all had together in like a long time.
Especially with Mark involved.
Yeah, shout out to Mark's disembodied voice. Woo! Mark's disembodied voice. We need like a jingle for you, dude. I love it. Mark's disembodied voice. But this is Draft Hotseat. I'm Kyle Ott, joined of course by the illustrious
Liam Duffy.
And if this is your first time here and you have no idea what's happening, let me fill you in. Liam and Mark actually have curated. So usually they just pick them out of a big stack of uncommons that Liam collects from a set. But this time they've gone through. They found 5 doozies for me. Maybe I'm overhyping this. Maybe these cards are garbage. I'm gonna overhype the crap out of this. These are the 5 most interesting, most compelling, clean your windows, wash your floors, do your taxes uncommons in M19. And I'm going to review these bad boys for you.
This might be the last hot seat that we do for Core 19.
Yes. So it's going to be good.
So, yeah,
it's going to be real. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. But if this is your first time here, I score these from 1 to 5. 1 being the absolute worst, an utter dumpster fire, a complete joke. Hot Tub Time Machine 2. And 5 being the best. Amazing. Something you want to tell your children about, aka the first Hot Tub Time Machine. It's our scale is Hot Tub Time Machine 2 to Hot Tub Time Machine. Alright, you guys ready? That's the new scale, boys. It's the new gold standard of weighing magic cards. Alright, let's get into it. Our first card is Vigilant Baloth, which is 3 colorless and 2 green mana, so 5 mana total for a 5/5 beast creature with Vigilance. I give this card a 3. It is average. So sometimes it's going to be fine. A 5 mana 5/5 is okay. It passes the vanilla test. In fact, it is strictly vanilla. Vigilance is definitely a relevant keyword. It's certainly more relevant on large creatures than it is on smaller ones, because a lot of times if you're playing a green deck with a lot of fatties, if you're spinning that's Mark playing with something, I don't know what he's playing with. Mark's disembodied voice. But anyway, Vigilance is much more relevant on a big fat creature like a 5/5 Baloth than it is on like a 2/2 or a 2/3 creature, because it means that... Ooh, we good? Cool. Technical difficulty abound.
Maybe.
Because it means that you can actually attack him with your 5/5 and not be so worried about getting swarmed over by a bunch of other smaller creatures. And that's definitely a big weakness for these green fat decks. And Vigilant Baloth certainly fine. It's a 3. I've cut it sometimes. I've used it sometimes. Nothing to write home about, but still a 3. Still a strong, solid card. You guys, I don't know what's happening here. I'm not sure. You guys picked like weak cards. Is this a lie? Liam just really likes Vigilant Baloth. Was you the one that picked this big old dude?
I picked one of them.
I think I did.
Okay.
There's only one I picked.
Ooh, our next card is Regal Bloodlord. You'll hear Mark's disembodied voice chime in when it's the card that he picked. Just because I'm curious. I want to know when. But tell me after I review it. We'll do that. Alright, so Regal Bloodlord is 5 mana, so 3 colorless, a white and a black for a 2/4 flying vampire soldier. And at the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 1/1 black creature token with flying. This is a 4. This is as strong as Heroic Reinforcements, by the way, in the life gain deck. So it says at the beginning of each end step. So what this means is, if you have a way to gain life on your turn, like with a lifelink creature, or for example, if you have that wonderful rejuvenating fountain that gives you 1 life every single turn, you'll make a bat. And then if you've got something that makes life for you on your opponent's turn, you'll get to make another bat, which is already really good. A 5 mana for a 2/4 flyer is already pretty reasonable. I don't think it's completely vanilla test passing, but it's any reasonable body attached to flying is usually playable and limited. And the fact that this makes multiple creatures that also have flying is really, really good. I give it a 4. It is a strong build-around card and just a fantastic uncommon all around. Our next one is going to be Ajani's Welcome. It's 1 mana for an enchantment. It says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. This card gets a 1. It's bad. It's really, 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 really bad. Even in the life gain deck, where you want a ton of things that generate value for your life, this card's not really that great. For a number of different reasons. It does nothing else but gain you life. All of the good life gain cards, for something like a Johnny's Pridemate, for example, which gets bigger when you get life, or the Regal Bloodlord, which makes bats when you give life, or the Fountain, which gives you life every turn, but you can crack it to draw a card, or the Neonate, which can drain your opponent for life and get you life and block. This card does none of those things. If you've got, like, 2, maybe 3 Ajani's Pridemates, if you're super lucky, then sure, jam every Ajani's Welcome you find. But in a vacuum, and honestly, even in many of the decks that want this card, or want an effect like this, it's a 1. I will play it if I'm absolutely desperate for life gain effects in the black-white deck, and I just didn't manage to get any of the other important pieces, or if I've got 2 to 3 Pridemates. Other than that, big old Wannarooney.
When
He
we're
also gets killed by
finished,
Reclamation Sage.
when we're finished with these, let's actually talk about a Johnny's Pridemate, because I don't have that card to use in this.
Oh,
So we could do a 6th card, and I'll just put it up on the screen.
sure.
Once we're done with the other ones.
So a Johnny's Pridemate, let's just do it now. A Johnny's
that's
Pridemate
fine.
is a 2-mana 2/2. It is 1 and a white for a 2/2, and I believe it is a Cat Warrior creature. It could be Cat Soldier. It's hard to tell.
Cat Warrior.
See, I thought it was Cat Warrior because Johnny was a warrior, and Johnny's brother was a warrior. But every time you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on a Johnny's Pridemate. Wow, is it good. You can reoccur life. So if you've got multiple different life gain triggers in a single turn, like let's say you have a Johnny's Welcome, and on turn 1 you go Pridemate and you play 2 creatures, it's a 4/4. If you have another lifelink guy, when you swing with the life gain guy and the Pridemate, during combat a Johnny's Pridemate's going to get bigger, which can sometimes catch an opponent who is either inexperienced or just like having a bit of a brain fart moment unawares. It's very strong, but it's 2 mana, it's cheap, it gets bigger, it's hard to deal with. That's the only, like if you had 2 or 3 of those, that's the only time that I would ever consider a Johnny's Welcome. That card I would rank at a 3 or a 4, depending on how much life gain you have access to. Usually I would put it at a 3 because a 2/2 for 2 is always relevant, but if you have multiple life gain stuff, it's definitely a 4. So, yeah. All right, moving on to our next one. Oh, gosh, I love the gold uncommons. Poison Tip Archer. Love this card. 4 mana, sorry, spoilers. 4 mana, 2 colorless, 1 black, 1 green for a 2/3 elf archer creature that has reach and death touch, and whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. I'm going to give this a 4 as well, although I think it's substantially less powerful than something like Heroic Reinforcements or Regal Bloodlord. With that being said, though, it's still very strong. 2/3 with reach and death touch for 4 mana is actually pretty reasonable. Usually you'd want like a 2/4 for 4 mana. In terms of the vanilla test, you'd want like that 6 power and toughness spread across those 2 stats. But the 2/3 with reach and death touch added onto it is really reasonable. And then on top of that, being able to hurt your opponent for every creature they lose is huge. And it's not only every creature that they lose, every creature that you lose as well. So if your opponent is super low, your Poison Tip Archer stops them from making good attacks. And basically makes all of your attacks much better, because you can attack in with like low impact creatures that you don't care if they live or die, because if your opponent lets them through, they go to lower life. And if they block and you lose your creatures, they go to lower life. And your Poison Tip Archer just sits there like this the whole time. Just evil jazz fingers. Was that your
mine,
card?
by the way.
Yeah, it's a 4. Again, it is substantially less strong than Heroic Reinforcements, than Regal Bloodlord, and then in the 4 mana 2/3 with flying Sky Rider Patrol. It's substantially less strong than those 3, but it's still a very good gold uncommon. I will say, however, the black-green deck in this format does not seem as strong or as focused as some of the other archetypes that are available in M19. I'm not saying that it can't win. I'm just saying that it seems to lack focus and lack some synergy. Very much like the green-white deck does as well. Just as a sidebar, be ready. But if you wind up with 2-3 Poison Tip Archers and a bunch of expendable dudes and some ways to reoccur them out of your graveyards and kill spells, by all means, just push forward into the red zone. Good luck. Our last one, Aether Tunnel. So this is an enchantment. So it's 2 mana for an enchantment, 1 colorless, 1 blue. For enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. This is actually one of the few auras that I really like in this format. I don't know how substantially good that it is. I come from a school of Magic, and this has changed substantially in recent years, but I come from a school of Magic that's very skeptical of creature-based auras. I was used to getting 2-for-1 a lot, but Wizards has done a very good job of sort of pushing auras forward in the modern metagame. Those of you who play Standard may have seen the SRAM deck that revolves around just enchanting guys. Those of you who play Modern have seen a resurgence of Boggles, And those of you who have played in standard environments across the last couple years may remember the Heroic deck from Theros Block or the Pummeler deck from not too long ago that was doing pretty well. Not so much now that Attune's banned, but that was doing pretty well, that used a similar method of sort of trying to kill people. That being said, Limited is a little bit different. There's a lot of removal floating around in Limited. You're not always going to get the most benefit out of it. However, I will say Aether Tunnel is not bad in a deck that's a finisher, and certainly not bad at pushing through some damage. I'm going to give it a 3, actually. I feel like the ceiling on Aether Tunnel is much greater than the floor on Aether Tunnel, and what I mean by that is I feel like the instances where Aether Tunnel is going to be good for you or good for your strategy is far less than the instances where Aether Tunnel is going to be bad for you. Again, Aether Tunnel does not do very well when you are behind, but if you are ahead and you really need to push through that last bit of damage, or if you're at board parity and you need to slowly chip away at your opponent's life total, I think Aether Tunnel is good. And honestly, if it's good in 2 of the 3 game states, chances are it's probably worth a 3. So I think that's going to be it, folks. That was actually a really interesting 5 cards that you guys gave me. So I'm actually... I mean, Vigilant Baloth's some good old meat and potatoes. I don't know if he's particularly flashy, but I enjoyed it. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it too. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell thing. Tell Liam what a great dude he is. Don't forget to do that. He needs that. Not me so much. I'm pretty terrible. But Liam's nice. We like Liam.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you watching.
Mark's disembodied voice.